Looked at some basic ones, right? And a medium hard one. There comes a time when you just have to think through unit circle values to get it to solve the problem. And this is one of those. So where is sine plus cosine equal 1? Okay. So you have to think of sine and cosine values that combine to equal 1.
So 90
Does 90 work? Somebody's shouting it at me like 3 times.
Yeah, 0 and 1, right?
Okay, so sine at 90 is 1.
0.
1. What? 1 is it?
It's 1.
It's 1. Cosine is
0.
Yeah, 0 plus 1 is, okay, so x equals 90 works.
135 degrees and 315.
That face.
What?
Let's, we'll check it. Let's, okay. Sine at 1.
Sine at 135 is
Okay.
No, that's just
Root 2 over 2. And cosine at 135.
Like 1
Oh, never mind.
Negative root 2 over 2. Do those add up to 0? Not good. Good try though. You're going to run into that, right? If you don't get 1, you just move on.
So no.
Are there any others?
I'm not going to write it.
Would it be?
Yeah, so we like
What's the sine at 0?
0.
What's the cosine at 0?
1.
Does that work?
Yes.
Okay, so x is 90 or 0, and you're done. So you're thinking through that unit circle, combinations of the two. This is a very, very common. You run into this quite a bit, just having to think through it. Okay. Can you think of an equation that would work for this?
That would work for what?
Yeah, can you think of an equation that would work for this one right here?
Sine plus cosine equals 0.
Yeah.
It's 0.
That's very common. And then obviously 135 would be one of your solutions. Here's another common one. Sine minus cosine equals 0. You can also look at this one in this way. Where does sine x equal cosine x? You add cosine to both sides. And so where are those two equal?
45 degrees.
Both are positive root 2 over 2 at pi over 4. Or are they both negative root 2 over 2?
5 pi over 4.
Is he right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's not the only one. He's very quick with it. So you see I get to think through those a little bit. Just look at your unit circle and start adding or subtracting those coordinates.
Start it. Okay, we'll make one with one charges.
You don't need it right now. We're good. Nobody's going to steal it. If they do, we have cameras.
And I think you're going to make why because you said no.
Christian, this is why people make fun of you, man.
All right. Let's use algebra skills.
No, and as soon as somebody puts a sentence.
Ever since we walked in, like, school,
All right. The most common thing that you have to use in solving equations is factoring. I've told you that 100 times, right? Maybe not 100. We'll give it 95.
That's right.
You have to use factoring to solve this. Okay, so what can I factor out of each term? Term. Okay. What's left?
Sin x minus 1/2 equals 0.
Now what?
You distribute.
Oh, we just
Yeah.
undistributed.
No,
Redistribute.
It would be the exact same
So what would
thing.
you find?
That's something you can do, parentheses, it's reasonable, but we already have this.
I don't know.
You just
Okay.
find,
What if I had this?
basically the sine is 1/2.
What's that?
Add
What are your answers for that?
Oh.
Add 1/2.
X equals? Not yet.
Minus.
You guys are way overcomplicating.
0.
X has to be 0, right? Or X minus 1/2 has to equal 0, right?
Right, so you find where sine is 1/2. Yeah.
Okay, same concept. We need cosine X equals 0 and sine X minus 1/2 equals 0. It's the same algebra. Okay, so where is cosine 0?
90, no, it's 270.
290.
Okay, 90 and 270. Oh, I wrote that radians. Oops. Okay, where is sine X? 1/2.
30.
30.
Okay, you guys are really good at degrees. There are your 4 answers.
Wait, so you said that women like mostly using frequencies?
Yeah, I'm good with the
Like radians is
Me too.
They'll all be at radians.
Because I know the trick for them.
Okay. So again, if this said solve this equation and you had a radians boundary, you would answer in radians, right? If the bounds were in degrees, you would answer in degrees. 90, 270, and then we would have 30 and 150. Right? So don't forget your algebra skills in solving trig equations. Question? Some of you are chewing on your lips. Does that mean you're confused?
That means you were confused a long time ago. You didn't want to say anything.
Wait, is that what?
Yeah, August 26th was a pretty rough day, wasn't it?
What happened when you put it?
That was my first day of school.
Oh.
First weekish of school.
That was the first day.
They said they were confused a long time ago.
It was the day.
Never mind.
No, we get it, we get it.
Questions?
Questions?
Got it. Okay. Some of you are following. Let's see here. This would be a harder one. Because you have lots of things going on.
And if you leave cosine, which is sine squared, I mean, if you take out the cosine x, it's sine squared.
You can't take cosine out of
squared.
it.
Yeah,
Just
could you
hold
take,
on
you
to
wanted
it.
to do that?
Whoa.
And turn that to sine
Martha,
squared.
Could you take one of the cosines out of the cosines? No, no.
I'm listening, I just, I
I
want
know, but
to.
I'm.
Can you take one of the cosines out of where?
Like take one out of each one.
You could.
I thought I had these cells.
I don't know what benefit it would be yet.
Well,
Okay, so factoring maybe.
Cosine squared minus 1 equals sine squared.
Which
So it'd
is-
just be
But-
sine squared minus cosine.
So is this all cosines yet?
Start talking, Jerry.
Okay, so again, try to get that all in sines are all in cosines. Can I change that to cosine somehow?
Yeah, cosine squared minus 1 just basically doing the opposite.
1 minus cosine squared is an identity. Right?
Oh, you could add.
See, now I'm all in cosines. I'm gonna combine like terms and then I might be able to factor.
So negative cosine equals 0.
Let me make sure I wrote that down right. It helps if you write it down right. Let's make that a plus. So subtract 1 and add cosine squared.
So 2 cosine squared minus cosine equals 0. Just make cosine at 90 degrees.
That's an option.
Can you just,
So with these longer equations, it is beneficial at times, most of the time, to set your equation equal to 0. Okay. Then you know that factoring is going to get you somewhere, if that's what we want to use. Okay, factor.
yeah.
This side says
Well, no, because one's
yeah,
cosine
obviously.
squared and one's cosine.
Yeah, so what can I factor out?
You can put cosine on the outside.
Okay. So what's left?
2.
2. And the cosine, because they're the square, minus. Tell me please if you did not understand that.
It took me a second, but I got it.
Just take cosine over.
I
So you took a cosine away from the cosine squared.
Same thing,
Because if you did,
factoring that.
Yeah.
What was that? I just died over.
Okay, those are the same concept.
I wasn't completely.
Now, again, cosine x equals 0, and 2 cosine x minus 1 equals 0. So you split it. And what is x equal?
90 degrees.
Let's go in
gradient,
What you said.
0 to 180.
90.
That happens at 90. And that, where's cosine 1/2?
60 degrees.
I thought it was good.
60.
Yeah, 60?
Yeah.
And?
Oh,
No, I'm just pulling your chain.
well, that's not
Makes you think when your teacher asks you stuff like that.
chains, man. 300 degrees? Yeah, 5 degrees.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
but
it's-
that's not, so, that's not within this boundary. Stay within the 0 to 180. Okay. Hey, do you want to see the hardest one of them all? Or you just want to let it slide?
But no, we gotta do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not the hardest one of all.
So you just said that?
I just set it for effects. Just to make it go.
Doesn't that calculate?
Whoops, I wrote that wrong. Yeah, be careful to copy these down properly.
Can we just do sine, cosine at that point?
No.
Switch everything sine, cosine?
Oh, yeah.
1 over cosine squared 2 times, and then
They're like
sine over 4 exponent. Cosine 4 exponent over each other.
Okay, so you're thinking I gave you 4 tips, change to sine and cosine.
Yeah.
You want to try it?
Why not? Well, what do you?
Do you want to try it?
No, which one's easier?
Battery smell boat for this one. All right.
Michael says there's like a disease.
It's me.
Okay. What's next?
So then can you? Never mind, this was a bad move.
It was not the best move. It wasn't a bad move. It's not the best move.
And sine 4 over cosine 4 inverse.
So we have fractions subtracted. What do we usually want to do?
Can you do that? Can you have two?
Get a common denominator. So multiply by cosine squared to get cosine fourth. Right? So
Kids divide by cosine. Square.
I will answer that question.
Yeah, it should.
Do you like this method? Neither. But it'll work if you carry it through. What would you do next?
I don't.
Shouldn't it be cosine to the 4th on the denominator?
Could you get rid of the cosine?
Okay, multiply by cosine to the 4th to get rid of the denominator.
It's not
Yeah, you can. You can do this. Rational function, get rid of the denominator. Okay. You guys are like hemming and hawing.
What is that?
Oh! Thanks for that. Yeah, you're taking the long way around here.
Oh, that's great. Let's continue.
But we've already started on the long way and we're halfway there, so we might as well just finish the
We
drive.
could have ended it at the beginning, but you insisted.
I did not insist.
We
You
said
all
Michael had-
suggested.
No, we said Michael had different ways, and you ignored us. You
No,
kept
I
going.
didn't hear you. There's a difference.
Okay.
Mumblers.
Next time I'll yell.
And you guys just mumble rappers.
Weird.
How much longer is this probably going to take?
I don't know how much time we have.
Not much, actually.
Dang it. Okay, let's do the other way.
Fast.
Okay, there's an identity.
Fast.
The transfer secant squared to
Cosecant squared.
10.
No, 1.
tangent squared.
Oh.
Okay. So 2 plus 2 tan squareds minus tan to the 4th, negative 1. Right?
Saying that was
Okay. I'm going to set everything equal to 0. So 0 equals tan to the fourth minus 2 tan squared minus 3. So I moved all that to the right.
Why is it saying 2 tan squared equals tan to the
Next. That big F word. That one.
Yeah, Tyler's face. He was about to.
Okay, this is compare this. Here's the polynomial. Can you factor that polynomial? X squared minus 3, x squared plus 1, right? Tan squared x minus 3, tan squared x plus 1. Same factorization. It's got trig in it. Jerry. Not stupid. Little boys nursery. Right.
LBN.
I'd be in jail. I would be in jail if I taught a little boys nursery. I just strike me out. What do I do occasionally?
I'm a reporter.
Yeah, that's on record.
Yeah.
Why do I not teach in elementary school?
Because you assault a child?
Definitively, probably not, but it's.
Yeah, he would.
I would have the feeling of anger boiling up in my bones. Okay, moving on.
Can't wait till someone next year watches these.
But no, it's life lesson. You will have feelings to do things that you should not do. Not all feelings are valid. Do not act on all your feelings.
That's what GTA's for.
God. I am not going to promote that to England. It's an outlet for some people.
Not sponsored by GTA.
Can you finish those?
We're gonna get
How would you tag this?
Okay, we just, so you factor, set each of them equal to 0 and solve just like we did the other day.
What about that?
Okay? Yeah, I know, that's why. So, there are,
Bye, problems.
You gave it to us on Friday.
Let's go check homework. 10 through 14.
I did give it to you already. Some of you have done most of it.
When did that be 30? What's the difference, Tyler?
It's very good. What do yeah, cover right.
I'll find that.
Tan squared minus 90.
Normally, with a playoff basketball game tonight, I would probably give you 2 days, but we kind of have a test in 2 days.
We can do all the tests.
Like I want to go, I'd say, go to the basketball games. Alright?
I'm scheduled for 2 days from now.
Tomorrow's a review day. It's like, we're going to work on the review. I think it's posted in the classroom, but I'll make sure.
Oh,
So
you should make it do Friday.
I will only make this due at the end of class tomorrow. That's as much as I can do, okay? Leave your homework on your desk.
All we all did was